folks, welcome back to another video. You join me at Union Rock today. Lion Rock, my normal spot over there, the other side of the lake. Thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Stunning day today. Clouds just come over typically, but yeah, nice views over to Snowdon as always. Swans swimming around. There's a paddle board over in the corner. I'm not sure you'll be able to see them from there. I've just come back off an ML expedition. Stunning morning, frosty 10. It was flipping cold overnight, but 10 o'clock in the morning I thought I'd come back out after breakfast and do a quick video because it was too nice not to. Hopefully I'm going to aim for a 5-minute Friday, and it's a comparison between the DMM half nuts and the DMM offsets, because I get asked about them quite a lot because I've been sort of mentioning them in videos and stuff like that. So I thought I'd try and do a quick video about it. I've set the tripod up here, so just give me a moment to click that into place. There we go. Came down on the board today just to nip out, try and not to drive absolutely everywhere when I don't have to. Here they are. Right. Comparison time. The offsets, loads of people use the offsets. They're a proper hit. They've been out for years now. The half nuts came out last year, 2020, but they're quite similar to something that used to be available. I'm not sure if they still are, but the Wild Country Super Lights. First off though, the offsets, they're great. They go in so well. I would very rarely not take these on a route in addition to my normal nuts. I've done a video recently, or two videos, one on the starter trad rack, one on the full trad rack, and mention these. The different sort of flare that you get to a normal walnut, for example, works really well. So they're wider at the top, narrower at that end, and then they flare the other way as well, or get narrower that way and that way. One thing to be careful of, I suppose, is when you're putting them in narrow end first, sometimes the wider top bit sort of blocks your view and it's hard to see how much contact there is between the metal and the rock, so it can look like you've got a proper sinker, and actually it's not that good, so do be really thorough with them. But they can go in anyway. 12 kilonewtons is what they're rated to, so that's pretty much the same as a normal nut. Bear that in mind in a moment. Normal construction, 2 wires, all that jazz. Up from this size, the gold number 7, which matches a gold walnut more or less, up to number 11, they call this one, which is the blue, same as the big blue on a walnut, just different shape. So I carry them on one carabiner, nearly always carry a set of them in addition to the walnuts, which is what I take. It could be Wild Country Rocks or whatever, but as a second set really. The half nuts, right, so these have a bigger range. They start at the number 1, the small purple one, up to a number 7, the grey. So they don't go quite as big, but there's a few sizes smaller. You'll notice immediately in the construction of them that they're a single wire. They're basically a DMM walnut cut in half, okay? You do get some flare, so it's wider at that top bit than at the bottom bit, and then they're kind of a normal walnut shape that way. They can go into some pretty shallow placements, so DMM talk about them going into pin scars, but those shallow placements could be where they really excel. What I found in practice, they go in quite similar spots to an offset really. So again, for me, I've been carrying them in addition to my normal set of walnuts instead of the offsets when I've taken them, all right? I'll come on to when they might be good or whatever in a minute, but just a small bit about the construction. So like I said, single wire, and then there's quite techie going on in here. They're drilled, as you can imagine, to get the wire in, but they're actually drilled at an angle to maximise the amount of metal in there. And then on the top of it, they have a little cap, silver soldered on top, and then they're full of resin as well. So actually, that's like one of the strongest parts of it. If you pull test that to failure, it probably won't be in there that it breaks, because that's kind of just where I, as a layman, would assume that would be the weakest bit, but apparently not. Because of this single wire though, rather than the standard stuff of the offset, and the amount of metal and whatever, it gives us a rating of 6 kilonewtons for most of the sizes. When you get down to the slightly smaller ones, those two, you're down to 4 kilonewtons. So they are a bit weaker than the comparable offset and compared to normal walnuts as well. The flip side though, a set of walnuts, 1 to 7, these are 40, I think it's 47%, it's either 43, I'll flash it out, 43 or 47% lighter, so quite a lot lighter. And that's really where they really come into their own, is if you're trying to save the grams. So like I say, in terms of actual placements, I found them broadly quite a similar placement to the offsets that I've used for years and years. I have used these now for a bit. I got them last year and I've used them in all sorts of places, all in North Wales. I haven't really done much trad out of North Wales lately, but you know, Gogarth, the Pass, Ogwen Valley, Tremaddock, so they've had a fair bit of use and they've gone in really well. I guess the question is, what would I take out of choice, because I've got both of them? Well, for me, most of the time I'm not desperately trying to save grams on my rack, particularly at the expense of sort of strength. Is that strong enough, the 4 to 6 kilonewtons? That's kind of up to you to make a bit of a judgment. I guess the other flip side is, I haven't used these super long term yet. I've used these really long term. They've got some proper batterings in them. Will they last as long? I guess probably not. It's still going to last you a flipping long time, right? But I guess with the sort of the 2 wires and being a bit chunkier, they'll last longer, the original offset. So that may be a consideration as well. Who do I see buying these? I guess they're just a little bit more niche. The classic thing to say would be, you know, someone doing alpine climbing, fast and light, that kind of stuff, trying to save every gram, especially if you're lugging it up a mountain to start with as well. Or it could be people who are climbing places where there are a lot of shallow placements on a particular rock type. Not something I do particularly a lot of, but it might fit in really well with someone. I wouldn't buy both of them particularly if you're trying to you know, just build a rack. It'd be one or the other. And like I say, I'd probably default to that unless there's a particular reason for the half nuts. Do fire away with any questions on them. I'm happy to answer as best I can. I should say that I'd be happy climbing either, because they're both really flipping good. Yeah, honestly, I would be really happy with either. But fire away those questions, I'll answer if I can do. As I always say, thanks very much for watching, and click the like button, smash the subscribe button, Insta, Facebook, give us likes and follows, buy a Sling Mountain t-shirt, buy me a coffee donation, massively, just honestly, the support, it continues to blow my mind. Thanks very much. The paddle boarder down there has a dog on it as well. Oreo would have a fit about that. He would not enjoy that at all. I hope the video's been interesting. Thanks very much for watching. More videos coming up very soon.